number 8 in our ways to thrive in challenging times is start keeping track. I'm willing to bet that a lot of business owners, if they do this, they don't do enough, or they haven't been intentional about connecting what they're tracking with what their goals are. So today I want to talk about just building some accountability into your schedule, having particular periods of time, whether that's weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually for certain things, to really check on some things that we're measuring to ensure that we're actually meeting our business goals, or at least moving towards them. In our recent business success plan coaching week, we talked about key performance indicators, KPIs. They sound very technical, but honestly, I want to give you today some KPIs that every business should be tracking. But when you're thinking about KPIs and what makes sense for your business, what you're going to, beyond the 6 I'm going to give you that I think every business should do, if you're looking at what KPIs make sense for your business, you want to think about your business objectives, because really that's what you want to check in on to make sure that you're moving towards your goals and your objectives. So, sit down, look at your objectives, and then think about ways that you could measure those in real ways, real specific ways, that creates value for you. So, if we don't want to check on things that don't really matter just for the sake of having something we can say that we're checking on. The second thing you want to do is consider the stage your business is in. If you're a startup company, you might be more concerned about, how quickly your invoices get paid, for example, versus a more established company. While an established company might be more concerned about employee retention, which you don't care because maybe you don't have any yet. So you want to look at your business stage and see what makes sense for where you're at. And then you want to, when you're thinking about KPIs, think about ones that you can think about the lagging and the leading indicators. So lagging is things looking backwards, right? So we look back, we look at trends, we look at the past, and then we look forward. We want to find things that are indicating things in the future. So you want to have most of those things covered. All right, so I'm going to just give you real simply 6 KPIs, key performance indicators that every business should be tracking. And if these are the only ones that you start with, or you start with 2 and create a habit, and then add some other ones as you get comfortable. I like these 6 because they kind of hit the basics, okay? So the first 2 are financial. So we do want to track our finances, right? We want to know if we're being profitable. So net profit, revenue minus expenses is net profit. If you have an accounting software system, easy peasy to find net profit. And again, so you want to set those up and compare them to your goals. And hopefully you have set a net profit goal. Then you also want to track your net profit margin. So the difference is your margin is your net profit divided by revenue. And that's basically going to tell you for every dollar of revenue coming in, you're actually retaining X number of cents of that dollar. All right. So if your net profit is 40%, for example, then for every dollar you spend, you're keeping 40 cents of that. And the rest is going to your expenses and overhead and that kind of thing, marketing budget, whatever. Okay, so you want to know what your net profit is, which is revenue minus expenses, and you want to know what your margin, your net profit margin is, and that's going to be your net profit divided by revenue. So that's something that you can get from your accounting software. So set up. You could look at that monthly, you could look at that quarterly, it just depends on your business. So those are the two financials that I think are pretty basic and pretty easy to track. The next four are marketing related. And of course, marketing is my thing. So marketing KPIs are what I consider important because, that's going to drive your revenue, which drives your finances, right? Your net profit and your margin. So the four marketing KPIs that I wanted to talk about was customer acquisition cost first. If you spend $5,000 on a marketing campaign and you get 10 clients from that campaign, your customer acquisition is $500 per client. Okay? Now keeping this in mind when we get to the next one. The next one is lifetime value of a customer. And so if on average a customer will spend $100 with you, that's the lifetime value of that customer is $100. If you're spending $500 to get that customer, you have a problem. Okay, so the lifetime value of your customer, the acquisition cost needs to be well below that, or your numbers are just not going to work. You're just going to work really hard and never make any money. So those are two things in marketing that are important to really pay attention to. The third thing, the next two things are easy peasy marketing KPIs to track. One is your website traffic. And so website traffic can really give you, it gives you a lot of information about your customers. So, and the reason I say that is if they're spending a lot of time on average on particular page, or they're returning to that page over and over again, there's something on that page that is of great interest. So that would be of value for you to know. If you run an ad campaign and you see spikes hitting on your web traffic, then you know that your ad campaign is being successful in whatever channel it is. So our web traffic can give us some good indicators of what's going on there with our customers. The other thing that's really easy to track is your social media engagement. And so you want to look at posts that are driving engagement. Where are you getting all your likes, comments, and shares? Because that's what your audience is interested in. So that kind of helps if we can look at those posts and measure what's getting the most attention. That gives us information we can use to, when we're crafting posts in the future, we know that this type of post is going to get the most attention. Sometimes too, like if you think about the Facebook analytics and the way they work, Facebook values engagement. So if they see a post that's getting a lot of engagement, they give it more exposure because they know this is something people are interested in. Well, likewise, if you get a couple of posts that get a lot of attention, that's a good time to jump in there with a promotional post, because your promotional post will naturally get a little bit more organic exposure just because you've had two right in front of it that got a lot of activity. And so Facebook will say, okay, this page is doing something that people like, throw a post in there that maybe normally wouldn't get a lot of organic and give it a little bit of extra boost. That was a little extra tip for you. Okay, so one of the things that I've tracked in my business as a marketing agency is monthly recurring revenue, because we're on a retainer business model. So clients are on retainer, they pay X amount a month, so I know how much I'm going to invoice for on that side of my business, right? That's monthly recurring revenue. So if you have a business that's like that, for me that was valuable because I know what my team capacity is, and since our retainers are based on time performed, I know there's a line there that I know if I go beyond that line, if I add more clients, I know that I need to hire more people. So that was a good indicator for me in terms of growing the marketing agency side of my business, to understand, okay, my capacity is here and there's the line, and then I look at that monthly recurring revenue, and if it goes above the line, I know I need to look at hiring another person so that I can continue to support the level of service that I've committed to. So that's an example of how you can personalize a KPI for your business. And then there's 3 main tools that you can use for KPIs. One is going to be your accounting software. We use QuickBooks, but it doesn't matter which accounting software you use. They're going to give you financial reports that you can customize that will give you the information that you need to measure your financial KPIs. And then Google Analytics is great for tracking your website activity and traffic. And then if you have a social media scheduling software, you can use that to look at your different social media channels. Of course, you can go inside the individual channels. A lot of them, Facebook, etc., have their own analytic reports and things like that. But it's just easier if you're on multiple channels to use a social media scheduling software to do that. So again, go in, look at your business objectives, establish what your KPIs are going to be. Start with some basic ones like the 6 that I just gave you, and then put them on your calendar for when you're going to do a review of those things, and really start making them meaningful, because they will help you make decisions in your business and how you're going to move forward.